Hi, Richie Rich. How are you?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well.
Good. So, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm kind of excited. I got a show coming up on the 21st in Chicago. This will be my second, well, my third show in Chicago this
Mm-hmm.
year, and I'm pretty excited about that.
Now, tell me a little bit. How did you get started in comedy?
You know, it's funny. It's like you hear all your life, you funny. You know what I mean? People, your family and shit. You on your job. You funny and shit. So, people was like, well, why don't you go back down to the Cleveland Comedy Club, where Arsenio and other people in Cleveland started at. And I mauled it over. I mauled it over, and then one day I said, hey, yeah, let me try it. So I went down there, and I was standing down there, and it was probably 20 comedians because they do their thing kind of like the Apollo, where you stand outside, they pick 10 comedians to go up, and then you go up, and if you win, you come back the next week. That type of thing. You know what I'm saying? And the News Herald, which is out in Wickliffe, Ohio, was doing a story, covering a story on a novice comedian, somebody that had never been up, and what they wanted to get into the head of, how does it feel and all that. So everybody that had been out there, everybody that was out there, they had been up before. So they were all gracious enough to say, hey, he never been up. So they chose me. And I went up out of 10 comedians. I came in five. I didn't get booed and I didn't win. But the reporter wrote I was good. My voice was good. My presence was good. But I made the major mistake that all amateur comedians make, which is not having a well rehearsed monologue. And from there, whenever I did a show, I made sure I had material that I rehearsed.
Oh,
Okay?
okay. Well, now, what do you see yourself going with your comedy?
That's interesting because, studying the great comedians, starting from the top, I mean, Richard Pryor, Bill Cosby, Eddie Murphy, the list goes on and on and on. Red Fox. Uh, I want to be a diverse comedian. I don't want to be. I don't want to be put in a box. Like you got comedians that can do comedy strictly in like they hold things like vulgar comedy. It's funny. It's funny, but you can't do that shit at the White House. I did a show at the juvenile home in Cleveland, and it was a challenge for me because at my age, doing comedy for 13 and 14 and 15-year-old kids, but not just kids. These kids, juvenile, delinquent kids. You know what I'm saying? And I don't want to come in there and hear the crickets. You know, and I rocked it. And so, and I worked hard on the content because that's important. I want to have such a wide range where I can do comedy in the White House and I can do comedy shit at the crack house. You feel me? I'm funny. So that's kind of how I want my career to go.
Okay. Well, this has been a good interview, and I look forward to seeing you on your next comedy show.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.